Okay, Chanukah Sameach. We're going to start speaking about the hidden Megillah of Chanukah, Megillat Antiochus. Megillat Antiochus is a Megillah, is one of the main sources that we have for the story of Chanukah. If you ask people what is the source for the story of Chanukah, some people will say Gemara. But the Gemara is very short. We learned it like two weeks ago. We learned what the Gemara asked in Masechet Shabbat, Ma'i Chanukah? נתנו רבנן, בקפה בכסלו, יומד חנוכת מן יעינו, דלא מספד בעון. They just speak briefly. There is 8 days that we not do eulogies and fasting in these days, and just give very briefly the story. The Yevanim went into the Echad, the sanctuary, and they contaminate all the oils. When the Hashmonaim came, they found one flask of oil, lasted for 8 days, and that's why we light the candles. That's it. The story was huge behind the scenes that the Gemara not mentioned. The Gemara just go directly to the point. What is the mitzvah, lighting the candles? Why? Because of the oil. That's what we're going to say. Without so much details. But in Megillat Antiochus we see all what happened behind the scenes. Why it happened. What happened in the war. Because the main mitzvah we do in Chanukah, the only mitzvah you can say in Chanukah is lighting the candles. So yes, we have Hallel, we have Al Nisim, but the mitzvah is lighting the candles, the Chanukah. But if you see in Al Nisim, that we say in Al Nisim, most of Al Nisim is not the miracle of the oil that the Gemara mentioned, but is more the miracle of the winning in the war. ואתה ברחמך הרבים, מסרת גיבורים ביד חלשים, ורבים ביד מעטים, ורשעים ביד צדיקים. So many things we say about the war, just in the end. ותיארו את מקדשך והדליקו נרות בחצרות קודשך. In the end we say that they light the candles. But most of the Al Nisim is about the war. But the mitzvah is about the candles. Now, this Megillat Antiochus is built in a way like other Megillot. It's a lot shorter. There's only one chapter, a very long chapter, but only one. Compared to Megillat Esther, it is 10 chapters. Or Megillat Shir HaShirim, it is 8. In Megillat Antiochus, is only one. It was written, there is a machloket who it was written by. Some say by Hashmonaim. The maccabees, after they won, they wrote it. Some say it's Hillel v'Shammai. Hillel v'Shammai, we know them from Bet Hillel and Bet Shammai, they was a little after this story. They was still in the time of Bet HaMikdash, the second Bet HaMikdash. The story of Chanukah was in the time of the second Bet HaMikdash. We're going to see exactly when inside the Megillah. So some say they wrote it to remember these miracles of Chanukah. And there is some communities that they had them in Hag to read in Chanukah Megillat Antiochus. The same like in Purim, we read Megillat Esther. So they had them in Hag to read Megillat Antiochus. And some had them in Hag even to read it with bracha. The same like in Megillat Esther, we say the bracha, not al mikra Megillah, because that you cannot say, because there was not a kana. But the bracha of Harav Adan Dinenu, Harav Trivenu, Vadan Dinenu, Valakom Tikmatenu, Vamshalem Gemul Lechol Zonenu. So this bracha of Baruch Atah Hashem Ha'el HaMoshiach, that's the idea of the minhag to say, because it's the same idea. You fight our fight, and you make our judgment, and you revenge from our enemies. So that's bracha that they used to say before after the Kirat Megillah of Megillat Antiochus. Nowadays, I don't know if there is a community that read the Megillah. Maybe they had ancient minhag and they could still continue this, but not with a bracha. A lot of poskim say you cannot say a bracha on it because it wasn't made takana on this. And some say you cannot even read betzibur. Why? Because it's not part of the Tanakh. As we know, Tanakh is built up from 24 books. We have Kafdalet Sfarim of the Tanakh. And the last one that entered the Tanakh was Megillat Esther. The Gemara says Megillat Esther, Sof lekol hanisim, is the end of the miracles. It's the end of the miracle that was written and entered the Tanakh. Because when they build the second Bet HaMikdash, Chachamim composed all the Tanakh, they put it together, and the Nevi'im, the late Nevi'im that was in that time, they put it together and say, that's it. We have 24 books, and that's the end of the Tanakh. They closed it. Now, that's going to answer us why Megillat Antiochus is not part of them, even though it's a Megillah. It's not part of it because first it was sealed almost 200 years before, all of the Tanakh. You cannot add any more books. And another reason is that every book that's written in Tanakh, it was written by Ruach HaKodesh. Hashem told them what to write. That's why it's holy. It's not just a person wrote it. It was Hashem told them by Ruach HaKodesh to write this Sefer. If it was Sefer Yoshua, of course, all the Torah, Yoshua and all the Nevi'im, and the Ketuvim also. All what Shlomo HaMelech wrote, Kohelet, Mishle, Shir HaShirim, what David wrote, Tehillim, and all of those books was written by Ruach HaKodesh. Antiochus wasn't. Megillat Antiochus wasn't written by Ruach HaKodesh. To those who say it's by Hashmonaim or by the Hillel Shammai, that's why it didn't enter to be part of the Ketuvim and the Tanakh. Now about reading it in Tzibur, the minhag is not to read it. Some read it as a way of learning, and that's why in some of the Megillot, when you open Megillat Antiochus, you're going to see in the beginning Kol Yisrael Shamar Kol Ha'am as part of learning, and in the end Rabbi Chanan Megashia Omer and Kaddish. Not to bring it as Megillah, but to bring it as learning. Just to learn the story of Chanukah. And why? Because there is very severe sin that the Gemara brings in Masechet Sanhedrin of person that read in Sefarim Chitzoniyim. Sefarim Chitzoniyim is all the Sefarim that look like Sefarim from the Tanakh but didn't enter there. Like Sefer Ben Sira. There's a lot of wisdom in Sefer Ben Sira, but it didn't enter to be part of the Tanakh. In some psukim is similar to Mishle, but it didn't enter the Tanakh. Sefer Yehudit also. Or Maccabees. So we know Sefer Megillat Antiochus, but there is Sefer Maccabees, 3 parts. Maccabees Aleph, Bet, and Gimel. There Maccabees is with Kuf. And there is Sefer Hashmonaim. There is a lot of Sfarim that is called Sfarim Chitzoniyim that didn't enter to be part of the Tanakh. Now the Gemara says if someone reads in Sfarim Chitzoniyim, is a big avera, and some say he cannot. What does it mean read in Sfarim Chitzoniyim? Of course we can read and learn it. But if you read it as if it was part of the Tanakh, the same like we read Haftarah or Megillah, then it's the problem. So you can open Sefer Ben Sira and learn the wisdom. Even Chazal learned the wisdom of Sefer Ben Sira. But not to read it like do Haftarah. Hashmarat Miketz, Haftarah going to be in Sefer Ben Sira. That's what we cannot do. To read it in Tzibur. No, so Megillat Antiochus is one of them. You can read it, we can learn it, we can learn a lot of wisdom from it, and the amount of thanks we need to give to Hashem from the story of Chanukah, because it's given in more details, but we not read it in Tzibur with brachot. Okay, so first we need to know the Megillah open about Antiochus, and that's why it was called Megillat Antiochus, even though it's not really a nice name to call a Megillah. It's like Purim is not called Megillat Aman, it's called Megillat Esther. So here is Megillat Antiochus because they said that in this time they wrote it, there was still the enemies. It was not fully controlled by Israel. So they was afraid if we're going to call it in a different name, they will think we're mocking them after we won, and then they were going to burn it. So they call it Megillat Antiochus. Originally it was written in Greek, and then it translated to Hebrew, and then to Arabic and English and other languages. Okay, so Megillah open like this. ויהי בימי אנטיוכוס מלך יוון, מלך גדול וחזק היה ותקיף ומשלטו וכל המלכים ישמעו לו. Open similar to Megillat Esther. ויהי בימי Antiochus melech Yavan, the king of Yavan. He was a great and mighty king. He was takif. He was very powerful ruler and general. And all the kings, all the other kingdoms, was listening to him, obeyed to his command. So he didn't really was the king of the whole world, like Nebuchadnezzar was and other kings, or Shlomo HaMelech, but other kings obeyed to his to him. We're going to see why. והוא כבש מדינות רבות ומלכים חזקים והחריב טירותם והחלם שרף באש ואנשיהם בבית האסורים אסר. He conquered many countries and kings and destroyed their big houses, their palaces, and he burned the sanctuaries and imprisoned a lot of people from them. מימי אלכסנדרוס המלך לא קם מלך כמו בכל עבר הנהר. From the days of Alexander the Great, there wasn't a king like him in the whole world. Now, the reason he did it, and the reason people was listening to him, the king was obeying him. It's not the kings that he appointed to be the kings. Because usually the way it was, if you want to be a ruler of the whole world, so you conquer a place, you kill the kings, you kill all the government, and then you put your own people. You put your own overlord, you under me in this place. Like it was by the Romans and Babylonians and many others. But with him is not. He left the same kings, but they still obeyed him. And why? Because Antiochus didn't really try to go for money and not for kavod and not for place. His main goal in life was outreach for his new philosophy and religion. Until that time, there was some people, very few, that had monotheism, like Am Israel. It was before Christianity and before Islam, of course. So there was very few minority that had monotheism, Am Israel, that believed in one God. The rest was pagans. They believed in a lot of idols. Also inside the Greeks. For him, he said, we have a new God. Powerful God. An accessible God. It's going to be you, me. You, your own God. You decide for yourself. That's why in Greek, the whole life was to make their body look nicer. To build their body, their muscles, to look good. They was walking almost naked with all of their muscles, with the sport. Because if I am God, I must be the best looking God ever. There was 6 million gods, 6 billion gods all over the world. I am my own God. So that's what he preached. Meaning there is no one that can tell you do something wrong. How you can tell me? I am God. I can decide for myself. That's what he tried to do. And a lot of people accepted his philosophy. Most of the world. They said, וכל המלכים ישמעו לו. והוא בנה מדינה גדולה על חוף הים להיות לו לבית מלכות. And he built a large city, sea coast. And there was his government, and he called it Antiochia al Shmo. Antiochia on his name, Antiochus. Now we see another character enter the story. וגם בגריס משנהו. Bagris was his second on command, like a viceroy of Greek, Bagris. So he built another country, another empire. That was, ויקרא לה בגריס על שמו וכן שותם עד היום הזה. He called it Bagris after his name, and that's what the names of these places. Until today, it's בשנת 23 שנים למולכו. Now our story starts in the 23rd year of his kingdom, of Antiochus. היא שנת 213 לבניין בית האלוהים. So we don't know what is 23 to his kingdom. What we do know is to Bet HaMikdash. So it was 213 years after they built Bet HaMikdash. The second one. They came back from Paras, from Shushan, with Ezra and Nehemiah, in the permission of Koresh, the second Cyrus, Darius, and they built the second Bet HaMikdash. Now, 213 years after, of course, the Yavan, the Greek, took over the Persian Empire, and he came, and his goal was, Sam panav la'ot leYerushalayim. His goal was to go up to Yerushalayim. Why? Because Yerushalayim for him was stuck like this. Like a bone you have in your thought. He could not live with the idea there is Yerushalayim in this world. Because Yerushalayim is not only a city. Yerushalayim is everything. For the Jews and for the whole world. Yerushalayim is a sign that there is God in this world, which is not you. And his philosophy was, God it me. There is no one that can tell me what to do. There is no moral beside what I think is right. So he wanted to go to Yerushalayim. ויען ויאמר לשריו. He told all of his ministers. הלא ידעתם כי יש עם היהודים אשר בירושלים בינינו. Did you know there is Jewish people that are in ירושלים? לאלוהינו אינם מקריבים, ודתנו אינם עושים, ודתי המלך עוזבים לעשות דתם. Similar to what Haman told Achashverosh. Just with a different goal they had. Haman's goal was to kill all the Jews. I don't care if they're observant Jew or not observant Jew. They're going to convert to our... I don't care. I want to kill them. Him was like, no. If they will accept our philosophy, our religion, they're welcome. We're going to embrace them. If not, we will need to kill them. So he said they not offer to our gods, and they not do they not follow our practices, and they forsake the rules of the king to do what they want, their rules, their customs. Meaning, what is it not offer to their God? If I am God, meaning they are doing stuff against your body. They're fasting. How can you fast? You torture your God. How can you do Brit Milah? You cut your God. How can you not all day do sport and exercise, and you sit and learn Torah? You waste time, and you not offer to the God. וגם הם, not only this. If it was only this, maybe it's okay. וגם הם מייחלים ליום שברון המלכים והשלטונים, ואומרים מתי ימלוך עלינו מלכנו ושלוט בים היבשה וכל העולם ייתן בידינו. Not only this, they wish for the day that all the kings and all the emperors will fall, and they always say, when our king will rule over us. Like we say, מתי תמלוך בציון במהרה בימינו. We always say, תשכון בתוך ירושלים, וביום ההוא יהיה השם אחד ושמו אחד. We always wish for the day, בעזרת השם soon, that everyone will see the kingdom of Hashem. And this contradict them. How can you wish for God to rule if we are God? And they want to control the sea and the land and the whole world. אין כבוד למלכות להניח אלא על פני האדמה. It's not כבוד, it's not honor to the king, to the throne, to leave these people on this world. Either they change their philosophy and it's okay, or we're going to kill them. So all of this is part of what he told his ministers, to convince them to leave their nice place in Antiochia, in Greek, and come to Eretz Israel, to Yerushalayim. עתה בואו ונעלה עליהם. So now, let's go on them. ונבטל מהם, and now we see what was his work plan. Even before he got there. ונבטל מהם את הברית אשר קראת להם. שבת, ראש חודש ומילה. We're going to go there and cancel the covenant they have between them and God. Shabbat, for them not to keep Shabbat. For them not to do Rosh Chodesh, because Rosh Chodesh is all of the Chagim. If you don't have Kiddush HaChodesh, like right now we have Rosh Chodesh Tevet, if you don't have Rosh Chodesh, you don't know when is Chagim, so everything, all the Jewish calendar is go to waste without Kiddush HaChodesh. So let's cancel this for them. And Milah, and the covenant in their body, they cut in the 8 days old, so let's finish it also. ויטב הדבר בעיני שרה ועיני כל חלום. Everyone is saying, look at this, say, oh, amazing, let's do it. Sounds like a plan.
This time the Arabics did it, no? Milah.
Ishmaelim, there was no religion, Muslim religion. Some kept it, a tradition from Ishmael. But it wasn't like, for Am Yisrael it was established.
Correct.
Yeah, Torah, and we practice it, and Mu'alim. For them it probably was, but in a different way. Yeah. אז a lot before Islam. באותה שעה קם אנטיוכוס וישלח את ניקנור משנהו בחי הגדול ואמרה ויבוא לעיר יהודה וירושלים. So before Antiochus himself left, he said, Nicanor, you're gonna be the one that I send you in there. You're gonna be my, represent me in Yerushalayim. So Nicanor came there with a big army to עיר יהודה in Yerushalayim. ויהרוג בהרג רב. He came there, as soon as he got there, killed a lot of people. ויבן במה בית המקדש. He entered בית המקדש, not to destroy it. Their goal wasn't to destroy בית המקדש. Different than Bavel and Rome, that they destroyed בית המקדש because their goal was to destroy this place. For them not. The Greeks, it's all about beauty. בית המקדש is a beautiful place. You have beautiful tools inside. Just, we don't want you to connect it to your God.
Purpose, yeah.
But leave this place. So he went into בית המקדש, ויבן במה בבית המקדש. He built במה. He built like a small altar to make sacrifices to other gods. במקום אשר אמר אלוהי ישראל לעבדם הנביאים שמשכין שכינתי לעולם. In the place that Hashem, God of Am Yisrael, told his servants, the prophets, that he gonna dwell there. That's where his divine presence will dwell forever. Even after destruction, it's still there. במקום ההוא, in that holy place, שחטו החזיר ויביאו את דמו ליד הקודש. They slaughtered a pig inside בית המקדש, and they brought the blood inside the sanctuary.
Wow.
He did it to show, I don't care. You say sanctity, there is holiness, there isn't anything in here. ובהיות זה, now after that happened, כאשר שמע יוחנן במתתיהו כהן גדול, כי זה המעשה נעשה. When Yochanan, the son of Matityahu, so in Megillah, in Al-Nisim, we say, Matityahu ben Yochanan, Kohen Gadol Chashmanayu Ubanav. So Ubanav, his children, one of them is Yochanan, son of Matityahu. Matityahu was the son of Yochanan, Kohen Gadol. Some have different version in here, that some say it was Matityahu himself did it, and not Yochanan Matityahu. Anyway, so here in the Megillah, it says Yochanan Matityahu, we heard it, that he did this. So he killed people. But you slaughter חזיר, you do korban of חזיר inside בית המקדש. נמלא קצף וחמה. He was full of rage and anger. וזיו פניו נשתנה. Even the face, his face got darker. ויבעץ בליבו מה שיכול לעשות לזה. He thought by himself, what I can do for this. How I can revenge for what happened right now. ואז יוחנן מתתיהו עשה לו חרב, 2 זרתות אורכה וזרת אחת רוחבה ותחת בגדיו עטופה. He made a small sword for himself. Compact sword, say 2 זרתות by 1 zeret, meaning this side, this length, by this, like just put it in his suit, under his clothing, and that's how he hid it like this. ויבוא לירושלים, came to ירושלים, ויעמוד בשער המלך, ויקרא לשוערים ויאמר להם, אני יוחנן מתתיהו, באתי לבוא לפני ניקנור. He came, almost entered בית המקדש, there was security in there, checkpoint, and he say, I'm Yochanan, son of Matityahu. For them, it's a big honor. No, he's the son of the Kohen Gadol. Represent everything in בית המקדש. I came to meet with Nicanor. So, of course. ואז באו השוערים והשומעים ואמרו לו, הכהן הגדול מהיהודים עומד בפתח, והיה ניקנור ואמר להם, בוא יבוא. So the security guards, they came to Nicanor, they said, this Kohen Gadol from the Jews, he came. Standing here. Nicanor said, of course, let him come. אז יוחנן הובא לפני ניקנור. יוחנן came to ניקנור. והיה ניקנור ואמר לו יוחנן, אתה הוא אחד מן המורדים אשר מרדו במלך ואינם רוצים בשלום מלכותו? You are one of the rebellers that rebelled against the king and don't want the peace, the peacefully of the king, all of the kingdom. ויען יוחנן לפני ניקנור ויאמר, אדוני, אני הוא. אתה באתי לפניך אשר תרצה אעשה. Say yes. I am the guy. But now I came, whatever you want, I'm going to do. I'm here for you. I surrender. I came to accept what you want. ויען ניקנור ויאמר ליוחנן, אם כרצוני אתה עושה, קח חזיר ושחטהו על הבמה, תשפט במלכות, ותרכב וסוס המלך כאחד מאוהבי המלך תהיה. ניקנור told Yochanan, if that's the case, let's make a test. If you really want to obey, take this pig, slaughter it in this bama inside Bet HaMikdash, and then you're gonna dress up like a king. You're gonna ride on the king's horse, and you're gonna be one of the closest people to the king. You're gonna respect you so much. וכאשר שמע יוחנן לשיבו דבר, אדוני, אני אראה בני ישראל ולשמעו גזדי כן ויזכרוני באבנים. יוחנן say, listen, I really want to. I want to do what you just said. But the only thing is I'm afraid from the Jews. There are still Jews left. If they will hear that I did something like this, they're going to stone me. You know, the Kohen Gadol, slaughter Chazir inside Bet HaMikdash, that can never be. Even if I want to accept what you say. They cannot. So I must be sure that no one will go and tell them. No paparazzi in here, nothing. ואתה יצא כל איש מלפניך פן יודיעום, אז ניקנור רוצים מלפניו כל איש. You say, please, send everyone from here. All the security, everyone, because you never know. One of the guards in here will tell his wife, she's going to tell the neighbor, and then it's going to be known to the Jews, and they're going to stone me. I don't want it to happen. Only you and me, we're going to stay in here and just tell everyone to go. בעת ההיא, אז ניקנור רוצים לפניו כל איש. So the Megillah say Nicanor really told everyone, go out. That's his mistake. בעת ההיא נסע יוחנן ממתתיהו עיניו לאלוהי השמיים. At that moment, the time that Nicanor tell everyone to go, So he raised his eyes to Hashem inside בית המקדש, ותיקן תפילתו לפני אלוהיו. Start davening, start praying in there. ויאמר, אלוהי ואלוהי אבותיי אברהם, יצחק ויעקב. אל תיתנני נא ביד הערל הזה. Don't let me fall in the hand of this uncircumcised, this goy. כי אם יארגן, ילך וישתבח בדגון אלוהיו, ואמר אלוהי נתנו בידי. Not for me, not because I'm afraid for my life. Because if you're gonna kill me, the Kohen Gadol, inside בית המקדש, he's gonna go to temple of their god, Dagon, one of their gods, and he's gonna praise him that he let them kill the Kohen Gadol. I don't want it to be a praise to other gods. I want it to be a praise to you, Hashem. Now, so that's what his prayer. Hashem, save me, not for me to win, not for my respect, just for him not to thank his God. באותה שעה פסע עליו 3 פסיעות. That moment took 3 steps forward, ויתקע החרב בלבו, וישלח אותו חלל בעזרת הקודש. It was only him and Nicanor. Took 3 steps, took this sword that he made for himself, stabbed him in his heart, and dropped him in the sanctuary, inside בית המקדש. לפני אלוהי השמיים ענה יוחנן ואמר, now he's inside בית המקדש, כהן גדול, not allowed to kill, כי אין לי כהן. And now he killed someone inside בית המקדש. So he felt bad. ענה יוחנן ואמר, אלוהי, לא תשים עלי חטא כי הרגתי בקודש אותה. Hashem, please don't consider it as sin for me, because I killed them inside the sanctuary. כן תיתן את כל העם אשר באו עמו לייצר ליהודה ולירושלים. Let Hashem, that's what's going to be the end of all the nation who try to make problems to Am Israel, to oppress Yehuda and Yerushalayim. So he said, Hashem, I did what it was needed to be done right now. אז יצא יוחנן מתתיה ביום ההוא. It's not enough. He went out. Now all the people is outside. וילחם בעמים ויהרוג בהם הרג רב. All the people that was outside, he fought them also. And there was a big killing in there. He killed a lot of people. How many people? So you're going to think, maybe 10, 20, 100 people. מספר ההרוגים אשר הרג ביום ההוא. The number of people he killed in that day, 702,000. 702,000 people. אשר היו הורגים אלה לאלה. It's not that he killed all of them, but there was so much confusion inside that one killed the other. After they heard their overlord, the general, died inside בית המקדש, they killed one another. 702,000 people died in this moment. בשובו בנה עמוד על שמו, when he came back to his place, בבן חשמונאים. So he built Amud, he built like a place, a pillar on his name, וקרא לו Maccabee, ממית החזקים. He called it the Maccabee who killed mighty ones. Now Maccabee, what is Maccabee? So Maccabee, they explain, like you say, Rabbi, not mistaken, Rabbi Sa'adian Gaon, you say, Maccabee is ראשי תיבות of מי כמוך באלים אדוני. Like we say in קבלת שבת, מי כמוך באלים השם, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. So this is the ראשי תיבות. Meaning, the honor is not to me. The respect is not for me, it's to Hashem. מי כמוך באלים השם, that you are the one who gave me the power to do it. ויהי כאשר שמע אנטיוכוס המלך כי נהרג ניקנור, משנהו צר לו למאוד, וישלח להביא לו בגריס הרשע מטעה את עמו. Say, after Antiochus heard it, the news came there that Nicanor died and all those people died. It was very hard for him to listen to it, so he sent to bring Bagris, the wicked Bagris, that he deceived his own nation. This Bagris, he started as the second in command to Antiochus, but he did a lot of problems. ויען אנטיוכוס ויאמר לבגריס, הלא היית אם לא שמעת אשר עשו לבני ישראל הרגו חייליו ויבוזו מחנותיו ושרי. Didn't you heard what happened in there? What Am Israel did? They killed my soldiers. They taken the spoils of my camps and my officers. They destroyed everything I sent to Yerushalayim. I sent Nicanor and a lot of soldiers. They killed all of them. Small nation. עתה על המוניכם אתם בוטחים ובתיהם לכם הם. בואו ונעלה עליהם ותן מהם הברית אשר קראת להם אלוהים שבת ראש חודש ומילה. So he said now, don't you trust on your money to be here, to live quietly, peacefully. No, we must go there And again, not to kill them as a revenge. To cancel this brit, the covenant they have between them and Hashem. I sent Nicanor to do it. He couldn't. He died. So let's do it ourselves. Shabbat, Rosh Chodesh, Umilah. Again, to cancel this. That was his goal. He was devoted to his mission. So yes, he killed them. We're going to go there. We're going to do it ourselves. אז בגריס הרשע וכל מחנותיו באו לירושלים ויהרוג בהם הרג רב. So Bagris and all of his camps came to Yerushalayim and they killed a lot of people in there. ויגזור בגזרה גמורה על שבת ראש חודש ומילה. Now he made it as a strong decree. No one is allowed to keep Shabbat. No one is allowed to make Kiddush HaChodesh. And no one is allowed to do Brit Milah. And they enforced it. Not like Nicanor. בהיות זה כאשר היה דבר המלך נחפז מצאו איש אשר מל בנו. At the time that they just made a decree, they just found someone who made Brit Milah to his son. They did a big Brit Milah celebration. They found the parents. ויביאו האיש ואשתו ויתלו אותם כנגד הילד. They took the man and his wife and they hanged them next to this child that just said Brit Milah to enforce what they did. וגם אישה אשר ילדה בן אחרי מות בעלה, and there was a woman there in Yerushalayim who gave birth to a son after her husband died, meaning while she was pregnant her husband died. She gave birth. ותמל אותו ל8 ימים. She waited in the 8th day. She did Brit Milah to her son. And she didn't wait for them to kill her because it was known, if you do it, they're going to kill you. She didn't wait for them. ותעל על חומת ירושלים ובנה מעול בידה. She went up to the walls of Yerushalayim, stood up on the wall with her son, circumcised already, in her hand. ותען ותאמר, לך אומרים בגריס הרשע, אתם חושבים לבטל מאיתנו הברית אשר קראתי עמנו? And she screamed from there, I speak to you, your wicked Bagris. You think that you can cancel, you can prevent us from doing the covenant between us and Hashem. ברית אבותינו לא נבטל ממנו. This brit from our forefathers will never end. ושבת, ראש חודש ומילה עם בני בנינו לא יוסר. שבת, ראש חודש, and ברית מילה will never end, will never stop from our children. ותפל בנה לארץ ותיפול אחריו. She threw her son to the ground and she jumped after him. וימותו שניהם כאחד. She committed suicide because she knew what her hand going to be. There is a lot of discussions here. It's not allowed to do so, to commit suicide. But we see some places in the history it happened. Because they knew, anyway they're going to kill me, they're going to torture my body, so in some ways it can be allowed. Like it was the story with Hannah and Shiva and several sons. They killed all the sons and then she also jumped from the roof. Yeah, and all they jumped from the boat, נכון? ורבים מבני ישראל היו עושים כן בימים ההם ולא שינו ברית אבותם. And the Megillah here say testimony for the Jews. They didn't say, oh, it's not allowed, we're going to do it. No, many people from Am Israel continue doing this and never change the covenant. Shabbat, Chodesh ומילה. בזמן ההוא אמרו בני ישראל אלה לאלה. So people, Am Israel, start speaking with each other. בואו ונלך ונשמוד מערה ונחייל את יום השבת. He said, let's go in Shabbat. We're going to make Shabbat in a cave for us not to be needed to desecrate the Shabbat. וילשינו אותה לפני בגריס. And they told on them to, someone enforced to Bagris, the Rasha, that they're doing this. אז בגריס הרשע שלח אנשים חלוצים. So Bagris sent soldiers middle of Shabbat. ויבואו וישבו על פי המערה. They set entrance of this cave, full of people in there. ויאמרו עליהם יהודים, צאו אלינו, אכלו מלחמנו, ושתו ממנו מעשהו תהיו עושים. Again, we not try to kill you. Just go out and eat with us, drink from our wine, and do like we do. Halachically, is allowed for them to break Shabbat or not? We know that Shabbat is one of the mitzvot that you can push from Pikuach Nefesh. We have Taryag mitzvot, 613. 610 of them, if you have Pikuach Nefesh, you need to save your life, you break them. Even Shabbat. Someone, Chas v'shalom, is very sick, it's emergency, Pikuach Nefesh, you break Shabbat. A woman needs to give birth, you drive in Shabbat, you do whatever you need. So here they have Pikuach Nefesh. So why they're not doing this?
because then they will tell them that they win. It's
Oh.
more than it.
So, if it's just private thing that I need to break Shabbat to save a life,
It's a different
me or
story,
someone
yeah.
else is allowed. And any other mitzvah except for גילוי עריות, שפיכות דמים ועבודה זרה. But here it's called Shat Hashmad. When the Goyim try to make us, to un-Jew us, the Gemara say even for changing the shoelace from a Jew one to a non-Jew one. Let's say there is the Jewish people, all of them go with this shoelace and the non-Jew go with this. And in Shat Hashmad, like in this time, they try to, like Inquisition, like all of this, they try to convert us to their religion. Even if it's just about this, you give your life. So I say in here, they say just go out. ויענו בני ישראל ויאמרו אלה לאלה. עם ישראל, people in there start talking with each other. זוכרים אנחנו אשר ציוונו אדוני על הר סיני, 6 ימים תעבוד ועשת כל מלאכתך ממש ותשבות. We remember what Hashem commanded us in our Sinai. Of course, not them. To remember in the Torah, it's like this: that you work for 6 days, and the 6th day, and the 7th day, you must cease from working. You need to keep the Shabbat. You rest. עתה טוב לנו אשר נמות במערה מאשר חיית יום השבת. It's better for us to die in this cave than break Shabbat, than desecrate Shabbat. בהיות זה, כאשר לא יצאו עליהם היהודים, so that's what they told each other. When the soldiers there saw that they're not going out to them, ויביאו עצים וישרפו על פי המערה וימותו כ1,000 איש ואישה. They brought wood, they start make fire on the entrance of the cave. That's the only entrance, the only air source. They make fire in there, all the smoke go in, kill them. 1,000 people, men and women. אחרי כן, after these terrible stories, now we need to fight back. So our goal as Jews is not to fight. We not initiate wars. If they come to fight against us, we must fight. We must fight back, and we need to save ourselves. And we kill all the enemies, like it was in time of David HaMelech, time of Yehoshua, Moshe Rabbeinu, with Amalek, all of them. So we not try to go and conquer places and be strong. No. But if they come, we must fight. אחרי כן יצאו 5 בני מתתיה, יוחנן ו4 אחיו. After this, the 5 children of מתתיה, מתתיה בן יוחנן כהן גדול. יוחנן, another 4 brothers, וילחמו בעמים, ויהרגו בהם הרג רב, ויגרשום לאיי הים, כי בטחו בהשם אלוהי השמיים. So them, only 5 people, came and fought those soldiers with bagris, and they killed many of them, and the rest they sent away to the islands, meaning towards Greece. כי בטחו בהשם אלוהי השמיים. The Megillah say that not because they were strong, not because they had artillery. The only thing they had is bitachon b'Hashem. Yep. They had bitachon. With bitachon, you can do everything. Without bitachon, you can be the strongest person, the strongest army in the world, highest intelligence in the whole world. And these terrorists can break in and kill so many people. With bitachon, you can be 5 people, untrained, and kill so many. אז בגריס הרשע נכנס בספינה אחת ואנוס את אנטיוכוס המלך בימו אנשיו פליטי חרב. So Bagris also, he ran away, he took the boat and ran to Antiochus. With him a lot of people that was saved, refugees that saved from the war. ויען בגריס ואומר אנטיוכוס המלך, אתה המלך, שם לציווי לבטל בין היהודים שבת ראש חודש מילה, מימה גדולה אומרת בתוכה. You send me to cancel for them שבת, ראש חודש של מילה. There is a big problem in there. There is a big rebellion inside this country, in Eretz Israel. אשר אם ילכו כל העמים והאומות וכל השונות לא יוכלו לחמש מן מתתיהו. Say even if the whole nations, not only us, all the nations together, and all the languages, they're gonna go together to fight them, they could never beat these 5 children of מתתיהו, the maccabees. אשר מהאריות הם חזקים ומלשרים הם קלים ודובים ממהרים. They are stronger than lions, they are lighter than eagles, and they are fast. They are agile than birds. It's not physical power, again.
Something more than it.
They are the strongest army at that time, the Greeks. But their power, their energy, their, enthusiasm into fight, it was stronger than all of this. Why? As we said in the last page. בטחו בהשם אלוהי ישראל. They had ביטחון in Hashem. They trust in Hashem. They knew, I'm not afraid of anyone. No, they say, there are stickers, they say, when you believe in the one, you're not afraid of anyone. We believe in Hashem, we're not afraid of anybody. אתה, המלך הצדיק ייטב עליך, ולא תילחם באנשים מעט, כי אם תילחם בהם ותבוש בעיני כל המלכים. You say, please, if you listen to my advice, king, he spoke to Antiochus, don't even try to fight with them, there are only 5 people. If they're going to beat you, and all of Greece, it's going to be the greatest shame ever. The greatest kingdom, the biggest army, was beaten by 5 כהנים, that's it. לכן כתוב ושלח ספרים בכל מדינות מלכותיך, יבואו שרי החיילים לא ישרים אף אחד, גם פילים מלובשים שעונים יהיו עמהם. Said, don't make it your war, make it world's war. Now make it that everyone need to fight the Jews, because they are filthy, because they are thieves, because, you know, so all the reasons that the anti-Semitism, the anti-Semites say. Make it a world problem. It's not Greece against the Jews. It's the world against the Jews. Now, all of them will come. All the soldiers in the world will come. And even elephants with armors they're going to bring. That was their tanks at that time. They trained elephants to fight. וייטב הדבר בין אנטיוכוס המלך. Antiochus said, that's a good idea. I'm not going to leave it for myself. I lost so many people. In the first strike, he lost 703,000. In this strike, he lost so many people. Let's say how many, but so many people. And his second in command was needed to flee away back to Greece.
Wow.
So he say, let's do it like this. וישלח ספרים לכל מדינות מלכותו, ויבואו שרי כל העמים והמלכות, וגם פילים מלובשים שריונים מהם באו. So he sent letters, he sent written orders to all the kingdoms, and all of the ministers came, and all the governments came, and also they brought these tanks, the elephants with the armors on them. Shenit kam Bagris Arasha. Now the second time that Bagris is going up to Yerushalayim, Bakar Choma. Now they had a big army. So they was able to go to Yerushalayim, to conquer Yerushalayim, to break the wall. וינתק המבוא, וישב במקדש 13 פרצות. They break 13 breaks and breaches inside the Bet HaMikdash, in the walls in there. And that's also, it's brought in the Masechet Midot, there is 13 of them, and that's why they made takana after to, when you go there, you need to bow down 13 times to undo it. וגם מן האבנים שיבר עד אשר היו כאפר, some of the rocks of בית המקדש, he grinded until it was like dust. ויחשוב בליבו ויאמר, הפעם הזאת לא יוכלו לקרב חילי ועוז ידי. He said, now, he thought for himself, now no one can beat me. I have so much power, so many soldiers, they're never going to beat me. ואלוהי השמיים לא חשב כן. Megillah say, but the God of heaven didn't thought the same. You, Bagris, thought no one can beat you. Hashem say no. Wait and see. וכשמוע 5 בני מתתיה, when these 5 children of מתתיה, you're going to see their names now, קמו ויבואו למצפה גלעד. They came to מצפה גלעד, the same place that in time of Shmuel, there was also a big saving in there, אשר הייתה שם פליטה לבית ישראל משמואל הנביא. צום גזרו, they decreed fast, everyone need to fast, וישבו על האפר לבקש רחמים לפני אלוהי השמיים. That's how they prepare for war. Other people go eat, train, no. Fast, sit on the ground, sit on dust, to ask for rachamim from Hashem. Why? Again, it's not our power. We are chalashim, me'atim, like we're saying al anisim. It's not us, it's Hashem. So let's pray to Hashem. אז נפל בליבם עצה טובה. Then they had a good advice, good plan. יהודה הבכור, יהודה המכבי, the first one, the firstborn, השני שמעון, השלישי יוחנן, הרביעי יונתן, החמישי אלעזר. That's 4 of them, 5 of them. ויברך אותם אביהם. Now מתתיהו, their father, blessed them. וכך אמר, יהודה בני, אדמה אותך כיהודה בן יעקב. יהודה my son, for me, relate to our parashot now, מקצן ויגש. You are like יהודה בן יעקב, the 4th son of יעקב אבינו, אשר היה נמשל לאריה. When Yaakov blessed the Shvatim, he said, Gur Aryeh Yehuda. Yehuda is like a lion. So you're gonna be like the lion. שמעון בני, אדמה לך כשמעון בן יעקב, אשר הגר יושבי שכם. Shimon, you're gonna be like Shimon, the second son of Yaakov Avinu. That he himself and Levi, they killed all of Shechem. When they revenged after what they kidnapped and raped Dinah, their sister. So he killed all of Shechem. Yochanan b'ni, אדמה אותך כאבנר בנר שר צבא ישראל. Yochanan, you're gonna be like Avner בנר, the שר צבא, in the time of David HaMelech. יונתן בני, אודה עמך כיונתן בן שאול אשר הרג גם פלישתים. יונתן, you're gonna be like Yonatan, the son of Shaul, friend of David, that he killed the פלישתים. אלעזר בני, the last one, אדמה אותך כפנחס בן אלעזר, אשר קינא אלוהיו והציל את בני ישראל. You're gonna be for me like Pinchas, son of Elazar, son of Aaron הכהן, פרשת פנחס, that he revenged and he make the kina'ah to Hashem after what Zimri ben Salu did and all of the sins that they had with the Midyanim and the Moavim. והציל את בני ישראל, ניסי עם ישראל. על זה יצאו 5 בני מתתיה ביום הזה. After they got the blessing from their father, from כהן גדול מתתיה, they all left. וילחמו בעמים ויהרגו בהם הרג רב. They go, only 5 of them. They fight all of this huge army of Bagris. And they killed so many people of them. ויהרג מהם יהודה. But they lost their brother. The oldest brother, the older brother, Yehuda Maccabee, the strongest one, died in war. First one who died. באותה שעה, in that moment, כאשר ראו בני מתתיה כי נהרג יהודה, when they saw that Yehuda died, שבו ויבואו אל אביהם. They returned to their father. We cannot fight. Our leader died. ויאמר להם, למה שבתם? Why you came? There's still war going on. ויענו ויאמרו אשר נהרג אחינו, אשר היה חושב כולנו. We came back because our brother died. He is like all of us. We cannot fight anymore. ויען מתתיה אביהם ויאמר עליהם אני אצא עמכם ולכם באים ונפדו בני ישראל ואתם לבדתם על אחיכם. It's very sad. My son died. But it's not about us right now. It's about Am Yisrael. We're going to save all of Am Yisrael. If we're not going to fight, they're not going to be Am Yisrael anymore. I'm going to fight with you. Matityahu was older. Kohen Gadol. I'm going to fight with you now. Instead, replace Yehuda. ויצא מתתיה ביום ההוא עם בניו וילחמו בעמים. So he came with his children to fight those nations. ואלוהי השם נתן כל גבורה עמים בידם. So Hashem gave all the mighty people, all the big soldiers in their hand. ויהרגו בהם הרג רב, כל אחוזי חרב וכל מושכי קשת. They killed so many people of them. All the people with the swords. And the soldiers with the keshet, with the like snipers. Those with the bow and arrow. ושרי החיל והסגנים. Their ministers, their commanders. לא נותר בהם שריד. Didn't left anyone. וינוסו שאר העמים למדינות הים. And all the rest ran away to their places, to their countries. ואלעזר היה מתעסק להעמיד הפילים. One of the children, אלעזר, he wanted to kill in the time of the war when he tried to kill those elephants because it was very hard to beat them. You have an elephant with a lot of soldiers on top with bow and arrow. Now they go, they smash people. So you say, if I kill this, it's like if I destroy their tank, it's a big power I take from them.
Right.
So he was in between, to stop the elephants. ויטבע בפרש הפילים. So he was drowned inside the dropping of those elephants. וכאשר שבו ביקשו בין החיים ובין המתים, when they came back after the war, they looked for him between the dead and the living, ולא מצאו, ואחר כך מצאו שלו בא בפרש הפילים. Only after they saw that he drowned in the elephant's feces. וישמחו בני ישראל כי נתנו בידיהם שונאיהם. So they lost 2 people. But they were so happy that 5 people fought against all of this. It's not only Greece. So we know the story of Chanukah is Yavan. Here we see it's not only Yavan, it's the whole world. That's World War I. But it's against one nation. 5 people. Well, there was people that helped them, but still. מהם שרפו באש, מהם דקרו בחרב, מהם תלו על העץ. Some of those enemies they captured, some they burned, some they stabbed, and some they hanged on the tree. ובגריס הרשע המטעה את עמו שרפו את בית ישראל באש. They captured Bagris, the first one, and they burned them alive. ואז אנטיוכוס המלך אשר מאשר נהרגו בגריס הרשע, when he heard, Antiochus, that Bagris died, and all those people נכנס בספינה וינס למדינת הים. ran away. ויהי כל מקום אשר ראה בישם מורדים בו וקוראים אותו הבורח. Now he ran away, but he never came back to be a king. Because every place he went after, they rebelled against him, and they called him the one who flees, the coward, you know, the one who ran away.
Yeah.
He ran away, he didn't want to die in the war. You caused everybody to die in this war, it's your war, and you ran away. אחרי כן באו בני חשמונאי. Oh, now we get to the story of Chanukah. So we finish. What the day that we finish right now? כ"ה בכסלו. That's why Chanukah is called Chanukah. Chanu, כ"ה. They camped after this big war in כ"ה Kislev. Now after that, what do you expect them to do? To go back home, you know, to rest after this war? No. אחר כך באו בני חשמונאי לבית המקדש. They came back to בית המקדש. ויבנו השערים הנשברים ויסגרו הפרצות ותארו את העזרה מן ההרוגים מן הטומאות. They built those gates that was broken, and they closed all the breaches inside in the walls, and they purified the Azara from all the dead people that was there, and all the impurities, and the Chazir, and the Bama they built there. And after all of this, so we say that's all the story in Al Nisim. If we go back to Al Nisim, ואחר כך באו בניך לדביר ביתך. After this war, they came to your holy place, to holy בית המקדש, ופינו את היכליך, ותיארו את מקדשך. So they cleared it out, and they purified it. And now, they want to light the candles, because that's what showed the sign of the victory against the Greeks. It's not only about physical war. We want to show the victory. ויבקשו שמן זית זך להדליק המנורה. They looked for a pure olive oil to light the candles. ולא מצאו, כי אם צלוחית אחת אשר נתו טבעת גדול, וידעו כי ידה טהורה. והיה בה כשיעור הדלקת יום אחד. They looked for it. They didn't find any tahor. All of it wasn't tahor. It was tameh. They didn't pour the oil, as we say the shiur. They didn't pour the oil. They just make it tameh, contaminate it, for them not to be able to light from it. Then they found one flask of oil that was sealed with the stamp of Kohen Gadol. That's how they knew it was pure, because it was still closed and sealed. And there was enough for one day. There is She'iltot of Rav Chai Gaon that he say in his explanation, the story, he said there wasn't even enough for one day. Maybe for a few hours, not for one day. That's one of the ways to answer the question of Bet Yosef, that he say if there was one day, so why you celebrate 8 days of Chanukah and not 7 days? So that's one of them. There is 1,000 answers to this question. One of them is this, because even for one day it wasn't enough. So the first day, the miracle was that this flask was last for the first day, and then for another 7 days. ואלוהי השמיים אשר שיכן שמו שם נתן ברכה והדליקו מן השמונה ימים. So they found for one day or for less than one day, and the God of heavens, that he put his name in this house, in Bet HaMikdash, he brought his blessing, and it was enough for light for 8 days. על כן קיימו בני חשמונאי קיום, וחיזקו איסר ובני ישראל עמם כאחד. So now the people of the Hashmonaim make the statement, make the chag in here. Say establish a rule and decree to make, לעשות 8 ימים האלה של משתה ושמחה, to make these 8 days of Chanukah days of feast and joy. Not like what we know about Chanukah. We know Chanukah is going to be a Hallel ve'odah. Hallel, praise Hashem and thank Hashem. Not like Purim, yemei mishteh v'simcha. Purim is feast and joy. Here is different way. In the Gemara, there was the rule not like this. You don't have a mitzvah to feast in Chanukah. It's some mitzvah, not a mitzvah to feast. In Purim, one of the mitzvot of the Chag is the Seudat Purim, to feast and to drink. כי ימי מועדים הכתובים בתורה, they make it as strong as holidays in the Torah, ולהדליק בהם נרות. The mitzvah is to light the candles, להודיע אשר עשה להם דלה שם הניצוחים, to show how Hashem make us to win. So we light the candles, by this we show the miracle of the oil, but also all of the war.
If I make the call it the Mahalal, but the real nace is what you said before, is winning the war. But I'm giving my team. Because Shua gave them the light just to beautify and as a remembrance of this nace. The real nace is winning the war from the...
Yeah, some of the Mefarshim says, what is the reason we not celebrate the war. Other than what we say in Al Nisim, that we mentioned the war, we not really do any practice. So why we not need to take a sword and shake it like lulav? Why we not? Because it's not us. Akol kol Yaakov hayadayim yedei Esav. Non-Jews, the Goyim, they celebrate victories in wars, not us. We celebrate life. We celebrate light. We celebrate saving Am Israel. That's yes. Celebrate Pesach, not because he won in the war, because he was saved from Paro. And also by Haman, we not celebrate that we killed the Amalek. We celebrate that we won. He was saved. Not in the war. So it's not about wars and victories. It's not. That's not what we're looking for. The Goyim, they are all about victories. This king, he killed so many people and conquers this many places. For us, candles. We light the candles. For us, is everything. Meaning the light of Am Israel is still here. Now, that's how the Megillah ends. So that's the last psukim of the Megillah. Uvahem, so one of the decrees they make in these days, אין לספוד ולא לזרות צום ותענית, זה מה מקובל עליו לפני זה והתפעל לפני אלוהיו. So you say in these days we cannot do eulogies, we cannot make fasts in this time. החשמונאי ובניו ואחיהם לא גזרו להם לבטל עבודת מלאכה. ומן העת ההיא לא היה שם מלכות יוון. But there wasn't any prohibition about work. We're allowed to work in Chanukah. You go to work, you can drive, you can do melachot. Not like other chagim. So they make it as important as other chagim, but not in the same severity that we cannot do melachot. And he said, "Min ha'et ha'ih lo haya shel malchut Yavan." From that moment, kingdom of Yavan lost. What we have from Yavan left, just some places to go and vacation. ויקבלו המלכות בני חשמונאי ובני בניהם. From that moment, they took up on themselves the kingdom on עם ישראל. ומהעת ההיא עד חורבן בית האלוהים 206 שנים. For 206 years, there was kings of Am Israel until the destruction of the second Beit HaMikdash, which is what it was bad. They wasn't allowed to do it. That's why all of Hashmonaim died in the end. There was no any remaining to Beit Hashmonai until today. No one came from them. They all died. Why? Because they took the kingdom was not allowed for them. Kingdom was supposed to be for Beit David, from Yehuda. They are from Levi, Kohanim. על כן, בני ישראל מהיום או בכל גלותם שומעים הימים האלה ויקראו להם משתה ושמחה ב5 ו20 לחודש כסלו 8 ימים. So that's why, until now, עם ישראל keep these 8 days and they call it משתה ושמחה, and some say הלל והודאה, different version in here, from the 25th of Kislev for 8 days. מן העת ההיא ועד העולם לא יסורו מהם אשר יעשו מקדשת. From this moment and forever after, it's never gonna cease. Not going to stop the celebration. That's what they do in Beit HaMikdash. הכהנים והלווים והחכמים אשר קיבלו עליהם בני עד עולם. What they did in Beit HaMikdash, the כהנים, the לווים, and all the wise people, what they did in Beit HaMikdash. And then, so, according to some version, that's the end of the Megillah, and some add another 2 psukim. והימים האלה קיימו וקיבלו עליהם ועל בניהם ועל בני בניהם עד עולם הכהנים והלווים והחכמים אשר בבית המקדש ולא יסור מזרעם עד עולם. So they accepted on themselves, on their children and the great children, forever and ever, the כהנים and לוויים that they was in בית המקדש. האל אשר עשה עמהם נס ופלא. And that's really relate to our time. The God that performed those miracles to them. He will do with us these miracles and great miracles. And they're going to be fulfilled by us, with us. The Pasuk said, Amen. The same like in the time we left Mitzrayim. Hashem will show us other wonders beyond nature, like He do to us today, and He wants a lot more for us to win against our enemies. Not because He wants the victory, but because He wants to live and to show that Am Israel Chai Vekayam. Chazak u'Baruch.